My roll number is 18539 and today my topic is data flow testing. So first let us see what is data flow testing. Data flow testing is a family of test strategies based on selecting paths through the program's control flow in order to explore sequences of events related to the status of variables or data objects. Or we can also explain it in this way. It is a programming unit such as a function which accepts input values and performs computations while assigning new values to local and global variables. That is, passing the values to from one variable to another variable, and finally it produces the output values. And therefore we can say that it is kind of a flow of data values between the variables along a path of program execution. And this process is also conducted to detect the bugs because of the incorrect usage of data variables or the data values, and for example initialization of data variables in a programming code. Next, it is also known as the white box testing or the source code based testing. And this method is based on variables definition and usage. And it is also one of the structured software testing methodologies. And what are the advantages of data flow testing which helps us to pinpoint the issues? First, a variable that is declared but never used within a program, or a variable that is used but never declared in a program, or a variable that is defined multiple times before it is used, or maybe deallocating a variable before it is used. And lastly, we have the data flow testing strategies. So what is data flow testing strategies? Data flow testing strategies are the structural strategies. So the flow of data and the strategies, it moves around the structural strategies of a program. And in contrast to the path testing strategies, data flow strategies take into account what happens to the data objects on the links in addition to the raw connectivity of the graph. And in other words, data flow strategies require data flow link weights, which is DKUCP. And here D is for define, K is for kill, U is for undefined, C is for computational use, and P is for predicate use. Also, the strategies are based on selecting the test path strategies, which are also known as the subpaths, that satisfy the some of the characteristics of the data flow for all of those objects. For example, all the subpaths that contain D define, for example, or U or K, DU or DK. That is it. Thank you.
Okay. You have not shown a... Okay. Nice. So anyone else are ready for the presentation?
Sure, ma'am.
You are ready for presentation?
Ma'am, just a minute, ma'am. My laptop is loading up. Once it's
Your
done,
laptop?
ma'am, I'm joined through the phone now itself. Once my laptop get powered up, we'll
No
be giving
problem.
it
You
the
can join with...
ma'am,
You
the
are prepared
presentation
or
on the
not?
laptop itself, ma'am.
Okay, are you prepared or no? You're prepared or
Yes,
not?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So go with the presentation. Start the presentation.
Yes, ma'am. The presentation, the laptop, it's getting powered up. Just a minute. Once it gets powered up, I will give the presentation.
What about others? Others, what happened? C4A2, C7, 520, D4, 512, 527. Okay, till that time we will start our class. 506, it will be take the time or not? 506.
And just a minute. Loading.
What happened 506? Okay, till that time we will start our class.
I'm ready.
Okay, start.
Excuse me, ma'am. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, one and all. My name is P. Dhanusra, and my room number is 506. And today's my topic is control flow graph. Control flow graph is the graphical representation of the execution of a program or application in a graphical way. There are two blocks where one block that enters the data through the entry block and the data gets exited to the exited block. The control flow graph is separate for in different for every loop and every loop. In if else, if then else, whether the firstly we will give a condition where the condition satisfies, it goes to the true part, or the condition fails, it goes to the other part. Same in the same every loop. Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, the diagrams have came for same for everything. Excuse me, ma'am.
What happened?
Ma'am, the loops are format have been same. The loops are same.
Same diagrams, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You are not prepared the presentation, or what's the problem?
I have prepared, ma'am, but my laptop has struggling boot up right now, ma'am.
Okay.
Let's say roughly, ma'am.
Okay. Was it? What you will do now? Okay. So we will start our class, guys. So in last class we have seen about the what you have seen completed in the last class, DFD and the static and dynamic arrays of DFD. Okay. Then we have completed our second part over there. Now we will go to the second unit, third part, that is domain testing. So first you have to know what is domain, okay, and what you are going to do in the domain. So domain is nothing but a input. Domain is a set of, okay, domain is a set, okay, it is a set of variable or combination of variables, okay. Domain is a set of variable or a combination of variable. So in domain testing, what you will do means program has a input data classification, domain tested, okay, admitted to determine whether the classification is correct or not. So in the domain testing, we are going to check whether the classification are correct or not. So we are going to give the input, and that input they will check that the range of that input and the validation of that input is correct or not. It's taking the correct input and or not, and what the value is returning with that input. We are checking in that in the domain testing. In the domain testing, the goal is to check the value taken by the variable or a condition or an index, and it proved that they are outside the specification or the valid range. So we are checking that it is a valid range domain or not. We are checking over it. The example of the domain testing is, for example, you have, we are taking the 1 2 3 is visible. Anyone say something? And this one is 5th. So we have taking the set, okay, we are taking the set. This set number in the set we have the 1 2 3 4 5, okay, which considered the integer, okay, and this domain having the boundaries, okay. So this is your domain. That this domain is a set of variables, okay. In that variable we have the set of values. In that we have the 1 2 3 4 5 6 5. In that we have this domain have the boundaries, okay, and the boundaries is the 1 and the 5 is the boundary of the domain, okay, where we are calling the boundary of domain. So 1 and 5 is the boundary of your domain. 1 and 5 is the boundary of your domain. So here what you are doing means a domain can be divided into the subdomain, okay. Domain will be divided into the subdomain if there is a domain. So this is your domain, okay. This domain is divided into the 2 domain, okay. 2. This is the domain can be divided into the subdomain. So this domain is divided into the 2 domains, and with how you are dividing the 2 domain means if there is a domain we have to predicate it, okay, by predicting that we are dividing into the subdomains, okay. Here for example I will give, this is the example of domain, okay. This will be how the domain is checking. So this is the we are taking the set of variables, okay, the set of values. In that we are checking that this is a boundary, okay. 1 and 5 is the boundary of our domain, okay. This is the boundary of domain, and this variable is this value having this variable, this set is the integer set, okay, which is considered the integers, okay, and this domain having the boundary is 1 and 5, which are called as domain boundaries, okay, and the domain can be divided into the subdomains. That is, we are divided into the subdomain, that is 1 and 2, and 3 or 4 5. These 2 sets we have divided, okay. So this division will be occur by predicting the domain, okay. Another example of domain is nothing but if you are taking the value into I, okay, if you are taking the value into is equals to I, here I is a variable, right, of integer type. I is a variable of integer type. We call I as a domain, okay, which consists of boundary, okay. Some integer domain can be divided into the part or subparts, okay, and I into j, the boundary of I and j, I is the boundary, okay, and j boundary are the described by the prediction, okay. So you are taking this is the I is a variable, of integer. Okay, then it is divided into the subdomains. Okay, so if you are having the int j, okay, this is also one more variable. So the boundary of I and the boundary of j are the boundary of I and j will be predicted by divided by the prediction. Okay, the boundary will be divided by the prediction of your domain. Okay, so in the domain testing we have the domain and the path. So in that, what you are doing means, in the domain testing, next we will go with the domain clouds. Domain closure, sorry, domain closure. So here so next we have the domain closure. In domain closure, if the pointer of boundary belongs to the domain, then we will tell that the participant of domain is closer. Okay, if for example previously domain is a set of variable is divided into the sub boundaries. Okay, domain is a variable. Okay, it divided into the subdomain. The boundary of subdomain is divided by the prediction. Okay, without prediction we cannot describe the boundaries. Okay, are you clear with domain? In domain is a set of variable, guys. Okay, is divided into the subdomains. So the domain is divided into the subdomain, and the subdomain boundary will be divided by the prediction. Without prediction we can't divide the boundaries. Okay, so next we have the cloud closure. So next we have the cloud closure. In this, if the pointer of boundary belongs to the domain, then we will tell that the boundary domain is closer. Okay, so by seeing this picture you get clarity what. So look at this boundary, guys. So look at this boundary here. Consider D1, D2 and D3 are one domain. Okay, D1, D2 and D3 are the one domain. Okay, so in D1, D2, D3 are domain with boundaries. Okay, so this D1 and D2, D3 are the domains and they have the boundaries. Okay, here here in the D2 is closer at the minimum and the maximum values. Okay, in the domain D2 is the closer at the minimum and the maximum value, means both the point belongs to D1. So in the first picture, get this diagram. In D1 and D2, D1, D2, D3 are the domains. So this domain having the boundaries. Okay, and minimum and the maximum of this minimum and maximum value are the boundary of the D2. D2 is the boundary, D1 minimum is the one boundary and the maximum is the one boundary of the D2 domain. Okay, here means both belongs to this minimum and the maximum is boundaries are belongs to the D2. The pointer belongs to the domain. It's set of closer domain. So the pointer here from here to here, this is the boundary of D2. So here this is the closed domain. This one is called the closed domain of your domain closure. Okay. Okay, I will give you one example for you guys. If you are in the D2, okay, you are having the numbers, that is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, this is the number. So in the place of minimum, okay, you can give the value as 1, okay, and the 3 over here, okay, and the 1 and 3 is the boundary of your D2 domain. Okay, 1 and 3 is the boundary of your D2 domain. So this is the example by using the numbers. Here we have using the minimum and maximum. This is minimum and maximum is a boundary. Just now I have given the example about the set we have taken 1 to 5, right? That we have given divided into the sub boundaries, and I have given the boundaries to the. So here in place of minimum and maximum, we are taking the set that is 1, 2, 3, and by the domain is D2. So here in the minimum place we are replacing with the 1, and 2. In the maximum we are replacing them in the 3. Okay, in the middle we will having the numbers. Okay, so this is our instead this is the 1 and 3 is the boundary of your domain, right? Here, and domain 1 and 3 are the open. Okay, open domain means the pointer are not belongs to the D1 and D3. So here here D1 and D2 are the open domain. Okay, these two domains are the open domain. So for that purpose, that these two pointers, minimum and maximum pointer, are belongs to the domain 2. Okay, this pointer are belongs to the domain 2. So in the domain 2, this is the closed domain. Okay, this domain is the closed domain, and the D1 and D2 are the open domain because they don't have the points. Okay, they don't have the boundaries. So this domain having the boundaries, and this minimum and maximum domain is belongs to the D2. That's why it is the closed domain. Okay. So next we here the domain D2 is both side closure, means both minimum and maximum point considered domain 2 variables. For let's say example, D1 is the one more example. Okay, D1 is a float domain. Okay, float means it is a float domain. Okay, and D2 is a int. Okay, means it is a int domain. Okay, D3 is the char domain. Okay, it's come under the D char domain. So D2 minimum value by predicting the value is that is 32K. Okay, one more example, guys. Here we are in this D1 is a int type. Okay, sorry, D1 is a float, considered float or float domain. Okay, this is the int domain, D2 is the int domain, and this is the char domain. Okay, okay, here in the D1 to D2 we are D1 to D2 minimum value by the predicting. We are predicting the values of D minimum and the maximum. Minimum value we are predicting that is minus 32K. Minus 32K. And the maximum value of this is plus 32K. Okay. These two are the boundaries of our D2. Okay. This is the closed from here. So in this point and this point, this is the closed boundary of our D2 plot. Okay, so this is the closed boundary of our D2 plot. So by seeing this, you can say that this is the closed boundary of your domain. So next I will give you one more example, minimum and the maximum. Here D2 is closed on the minimum side and open on the maximum side. Okay, This is the one side opening boundary. Here D1 is open at the minimum of D2, okay, and the D3 is closed at the minimum of D2, okay. Here the value of D2 is not present, okay, one side closed. So look at this. This is the second line. So here minimum and maximum, one side open. One side open is nothing but a, here it will be a closed one, and this one is open. Minimum is closed and maximum is open. D2 is closed, okay, on the minimum side, okay, on open is on the maximum side, okay. Here D1 is open at the minimum of D2. D1 is open at the, here the D2 is closed, right? So here at the point of here D1 is opened, okay, okay. D1 is open at the minimum of D2. Minimum of D2, D1 is open, and the D3 is closed at the minimum of D2. D3 is closed at the minimum of D2. The value of D1 is not present in the D2. So here the values, whatever the values will be there in the domain when it will be not present in the D2, okay, and the value of D3 domain is not present into the D3. The value of D3 domain, it will be not present into the D2, okay. This is called the domain, okay. This is called the one side open domain. Next we have the another example, okay. So both closed domain, okay. So here in this point, what I mean here, D1 is the open both the side, okay. D1 is open on both the side. Here both boundaries of closing for the D1 is D and the D3, that the value called the D1 is called there and the D2 is closer there, okay. Here D1 value present at the point, okay. Both sides closer mean this one, okay. Here previously I said that just for the example for verification purpose you. So this is the both side closer, okay. Here what happening means, in this point closed, okay. D minimum is closed and the maximum also closed, okay. D1 value will be present at the point. Here D1 value will be present, okay, because D2 value not present at this point. In the minimum side D1 value is present, but minimum D2 value is not present at the point, this point, okay, in the minimum part. And this point over here D3 values are present at this point, but D2 values not present at this point. D2 values are not present at this point, but D3 values are present. Here D2 values are not present, but D3 values are present in. So this is the both side closed, okay. Next we have both side open. So in this both side open, what happened means same. So D1 value can be go with D2 and the D3 values can be assigned by the D2. So both side open domain is called, okay. Next D2 is open both side like this. We define the domain, closure is defined, okay. For that we have the every input variable added one dynamic of the domain. So every input variable added one domain to the one dimension to the domain, okay. Keep this point on note. Every input variable added one dimension to the domain, okay. One variable define the domain on the number lines, okay. Two variable define the plane domain, okay. Three variable define the solid domain. Every new prediction slices through the previous defining domain and cut them into the half. Every body slice through the input vector space with the dimensional width is less than the dimensional of the space. Here the plan can be cut by the lines and the point, okay, volumes by the planes and the lines and the end shapes by the hyperplanes. Here what happening means every input variable added has a one dimensional to the domain, okay. One variable defined one domain at number line. Okay, two variable defines the plane on domain, and the three variable define the solid domain. So here we will go, next we will go with that. So are you clear with this diagram, guys, how you are defining the domains closer, how you are giving the boundaries, what is the open boundary and both side open, both side close, and one side open boundaries, what it will happen. Are you okay with, are you clear with this? Anyone is there in the class or not? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone is there? Are you clear with this topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next we will go with that domain testing. So domain testing is nothing but a domain testing is attempted to determine whether the classification is correct or not. We are going to check in the domain testing. Okay, so the goal of is to check the value taken by the variable or a condition or index, and to prove that they are outside the specific or a valid range. Okay, here we are specifying the just now I said and the path and domain. So this is the so this is the example. This is of domain testing. Okay. Okay. Look at this picture. Domain testing. Here we are giving the input variables. Okay, like 1, 2, 3, x, y, z, int, float, char. Okay, int, float. Okay, char. We are giving the input variables over here. Okay, in this variable is classified. Okay, this 3 is the domain, 3 domain. This one is 3 domain. Okay, classified according to the classification. Okay, this case are the generated because this input domain will be classified according to the classification. Okay, as per this classification, these cases will be generated. Okay, so these cases will be generated over here. So for example, this case one is in case. Okay, float case, char case, so on. The cases are will be generated as per the classification. Okay, then as per this cases we will get the output over here. So if the domain testing is come under the specification, okay, if the domain testing is come under the specification, it domain testing can be based on the specification or on the implementation information. So domain testing will be done by the two things. Okay, specification or classification. So this structural knowledge is not needed for this model, only for the construction complex specification of the input variable for each cases. Okay, here domain is a set. Okay, and input domain is a set. If a source language support the set, less testing is needed because the complexity does not match of it for us. Okay, domain testing does not work well. Okay, it describes the set of data objects. Okay, in this we have the Okay. Yeah, so in domain testing can be based on the specification or implementation. So domain testing can be done by the specification or the implementation information. So if the domain testing is based on the specification, then it is then it is called as a functional testing techniques. Okay, domain testing is done by the two things: specification. Okay, specification. Next is implementation. Okay, implementation. If domain testing is done by the specification, okay, based on the specification, okay, then it is called the functional testing technique. If the domain testing is done by the specification, that time the testing is called the functional testing techniques. Okay, testing techniques. If the domain testing is done by the implementation, so then it is called the structural testing. That if the testing is done by the implementation is called the structural testing. Structural testing. So domain testing is divided into the two types. Okay, so first thing, the domain testing is done by the classification is correct or not. It checks whether the classification is correct or not. Okay, as per the classification, these cases will be done. Okay, as per these cases we will get the output. Okay, the domain testing is come under the some specification and the implementation. Okay, it will be the domain testing is based on the specification and or implementation information. Okay, if the testing is done by the specification, then it is called the functional testing techniques. If the testing is done by the implementation, then it is called the structural testing. Okay, we have the two types of domain testing, guys. So the two domains is called the nice domain and the ugly domain. The two types of domain is called the nice domain and the ugly domain. In the nice domain, here some important properties of nice domain, okay, are linear, complex, okay, linear boundaries, complex boundaries, systematic boundaries, orthogonal boundaries, constructing closing boundaries, coverage boundaries, and the simply connection boundaries. So this if the any domain is agree with these properties, okay, then it is called the good nice domain. Okay, if the domain having this property, the domain test is easy and testing get easily. Okay, the bug frequency is less for the nice domain than for the ugly domain. So the domain frequency is less, bug frequency is less for the nice domain than for the ugly domain. Okay, if the domain is agree with these properties, okay, if the domain is done having these properties, so domain testing is easy as testing get easily. Okay, so this property should be there in the domain. So if the property is there in the domain, that domain is called the noise domain. Okay, the testing will be done easily and bug frequency is less. Okay, in the ugly domain, the bug frequency will be high. Okay, next we have the linear and non-linear boundaries. First one is linear, and then before that, 1 second, guys. Till here, are you clear with that? Hello. Till here, if you are having any doubt, you can ask. It is visible. It is clear to you guys. So look at this point, guys. Look at this image. Okay. Look at this figure. It is a dimensional boundary. Okay. Here D11. Okay. D is a domain of 1, 1. Okay. D12 is the domain. Okay, this is the one domain. D11 is one domain, D12 is another domain, D13 is the another domain, D14 is the another domain. So this is the domains. Okay, and each and every domain having the 2-dimensional. So this 2 is the dimensional. Each and every domain we have the 2-dimensional, right? That is V1 and the U. Sorry, V and U. V1 U1, V1 and U1, V2 and U2, V3 and U3. This is the boundaries. Okay, this is the two-dimensional domain. Okay, here U and V are the boundary set of the domain. So here U and the V are the boundary set of your domain. Okay, every domain must consider as a boundary. Okay, every domain must consider as a boundary. Here we have the 2 domains. Okay, we have 2 domains. That's why we call as a 2-dimensional domain. Okay, in this we have the 2 domain, right? So 2-dimensional. That's why we are calling this. We have 2 boundaries, right? That is V1 and the U. Sorry, V's and the U's. So for this purpose, we are calling this picture as a 2-dimensional bodies, and this picture is the nice domain. This is the nice domain. Because why you are calling this domain as a nice domain is this domain is having all the properties of the nice domain. Okay, so how we have to know that this domain having all the property of nice domain. This domain satisfy the properties. So this domain satisfy the property. That domain is called the nice domain. So if the domain is satisfy all the property of nice domain, then that domain is called the nice domain. So here we have the domains and the boundaries of the domains. Okay, so that's why you are calling this domain is a nice domain. Next, okay. So this is the 7 types. Okay, domains, properties. Okay, so we have the linear and the non-linear. First one is a linear and the non-linear boundaries. Okay, so nice domain boundaries are defined by the linear. Okay, inequality or equality. Okay, of our domain. So here nice domain property are defined linearly, equality or inequality of our domain. So domain should be a equality and inequality of your of your domain. Okay, so in the impact of testing system for the fact that taking the 2 points of the determining the state line, okay, and the 3 points to determining a plane, and the general is n plus 1 point to determine the n dimensional hyperplane. So here what happening in this, we have more than 99.99 of all the boundaries prediction are either than the linear or can be linear, either by the linear, okay, by similar variable transaction. So here what happened means, in this linear prediction, in the linear boundaries, they have to equivalence or non-equivalence. We are going to check in the boundary. If if the figure is okay with that, the dimensional domain is okay with that, then we will go with linear boundaries. So that domain is called the nice domain. Next we have the complete domain. Here in this complete domain, we should not having the spaces over there, guys. If the domain having the spaces, okay, then it will be called the domain is not called as a complete domain. So nice domain boundaries are completed in that they don't have any kind of space in that domain. Okay, the number of spaces from, if you're having the number of spaces in the domain, that if a plus and minus, okay, that domain is called that domain is not called the complete domain. Okay, so look at this picture, guys, you will get the clarity. So this is a picture of complete domain, guys. So look at this, guys. If you're having space, any gaps, okay, then the domain is called as the domain is not a complete domain. Okay, so you have to check you have to find the number of spaces from the plus to minus, okay, to the infinity. From entry to exit, you have to check that the domain is having any kind of extra spaces or not. You have to check it. So look at this figure showing the sum of incomplete boundaries. Okay, so A and E having the gaps. Okay, if there is any gap, the domain is not a nice domain. Okay, if the domain having any kind of gap, the domain is not a nice domain, as well as it is not a complex domain. Okay, no space, that domain is a nice domain as well as complex boundaries. So here A domain, look at this A domain. Here we having the space. Okay, this A domain line having the space. From the spaces it is continuously going on, then started the spaces, and in the B it is continuously flowing the domain, and the C is the also correct domain without any spaces, and the D also having don't have any, D also not having any spaces. In the E domain we have the spaces. Okay, it's continuously flowing, then it started the spaces, then continuously flowing, then started the spaces. Sorry. So in the domain A, okay, in the domain A and in the domain A and in the domain E, we have the spaces. So these two domains are not come into the nice domain, are not in the complex boundary. So that domain, this D, B, C are the nice domain, and it is come under the complex boundaries. Okay, next we have the systematic boundaries. So look at this picture, guys. Systematic boundary is nothing but it should be arranged systematically. Okay, so here The systematic boundary is the systematic inequality rating by the simple functions such as the. So here the function should be systematically arranged. Okay, here look at this variable. Here v1 u1, v1 u2, v1 u1, okay, v1 u2, v1 v3, v1 v4, v1 v5. This is systematically arranged. So this will be come under the systematically boundaries. So you have to check this thing in the domain. So for example, you are giving the law programming f1 of x less than equals to k1, or f1 x is less than equals to gic g1c. okay, if f2 is less than equals to k2, or f2 x is less than equals to g2c. So this will be come under the systematically bounded. So here where f1 is a orbitical function, x is the input variable, k1 and kc are the constructions, g and gic are the functional over the I and the C. Okay, this come under the. Next we have the orthogonal boundary. So here in this orthogonal, two boundary sets, that is u and v, are the set of the orthogonal check. So here what they are checking in this means, if u and v are called the orthogonals, that is every inequality of the v is every inequality of v is perpendicular of inequality of u. So here perpendicular of inequality of u. So you have to check that perpendicular. So v is a perpendicular. Look at this image. So v is a perpendicular to the u. So that time the two of the boundary are orthogonal is tested as a infinite. So this will be tested into the infinite. So v1 is go to the u6 is this. So this will be happen into the orthogonal boundary. So next we have the constant Taylor closure. So in this boundary, closure are considered by the systematic. For example, you have the some boundaries. So in this, what happening is the boundaries will be parallelly arranged. So this will be come under the our closure boundary. So previously we have seen that the same thing we are doing in this. So in this, using the sum relative operation for all the boundaries of the set is called the parallel boundaries. Okay. Next we have the simply connections. So in this boundary there are one piece rather than the pieces. Okay. All the lower than and swim other domains. Okay. Same in other domains. So here one piece of code. Okay. One piece. There is a one piece. Okay. Rather than the small pieces. Okay. All lower than the same wins other domain. Okay. So in the lower than the same wins in the other domain. Then we have the complex boundary. Here any operation pointer to the two domain boundaries. Okay. If any operation is pointing to the two boundaries and joining by the lines, and that is joining by the lines, all the points of the boundaries lies within the figure. Okay. If the boundaries are lying within the figures, okay, then it is called the complex boundaries. So if the domain is having all the properties of the nice domain, then it is called the nice domain. Otherwise it will be called the ugly domain. So this is the 7 properties which come under the nice domain. Okay. So you have to check this thing in the nice domain. Okay, once go with the present PPT, guys, you will get the clarity. Okay, attendance please. 16 series. 16 series. 17 series.
506.
5C7, ma'am.
506.
5C7, ma'am.
566. One by one.
563.
63. Okay, next.
556, ma'am.
Okay, next.
5C7, ma'am.
Okay, next. Anyone else?
5A2,
Okay,
ma'am.
5. 8.
A2.
Okay, next. Next. Okay, 18 series 1 to 10.